music of doom.
The music of
excitement.
Doom. Oh, that was so eloquent from you, Xenox. It's great to be casting with you against some PUBG.
Oh, God.
You're absolutely right, though. We are into the final stage of the game. That's where they bring the music up. That's where things get exciting. It's a 4v4 v2 v2 at the moment, although Magic might be able to get one of their players up, and it looks they have been able to do that in the meanwhile. So, a bit of a better chance for them here. Circle will shrink fairly shortly. It's hard to say who has the best position at the moment, Xenox, because everyone's really just on the outskirts of the circle, sitting in their building. I'd maybe make the argument that LG Divine, having pushed out first, making that initial run, might be a little bit more central than everyone else.
Oh, man. This music is fitting right now, I think, with this ever presence of the pushing blue closing in on Victim Rise and Buram, separated by big walls. Edie waiting until the last second. Samoy looks behind him and sees that blue coming in. We're 18 seconds. One running through the hallway. That was Edie. Samoy couldn't capitalize though, and now he can't even really follow him from behind. It's Nikki though for LG Divine. This is where they can put in the work. They've got the numbers. They've got the advantage. They've got the position. They can capitalize here, I think, more than... Look at the amount of smokes. Oh, you can't see anything. There is so many smokes. The nade! The nade! The smoke can't stop the nade! Alex with a double onto Edie and Canaxi. Magic Esports have just blown up Buram United, but God Meow still alive. Chun for LG Divine still up. Of course, they've got the numbers here in the remaining moments of the second match. For LG Divine. Edie is going to bleed out. God Meow just trying to make a run. The mad dash. Can't see anything. They can't even see what's in front of them. God Meow's gone. It's Buram out in fourth. Chun up close. He is flashed. But it's the numbers. LG Divine have got the numbers. I think they're going to get the second chicken dinner back to back. Did I not say it about 5 minutes ago that this is where they put in the work? This is where they come up big. They don't need to get 10 kills in the first 20 minutes. They get the kills at the end, and they get the chicken dinner when it matters at the end. Big win for LG Divine.
Oh.
What have I just witnessed, Xenox? That is one of the most bizarre finishes to a game of PUBG that I have ever seen. And I've been watching PUBG for a very, very long time. That was something else. I don't know how many smoke grenades were thrown in the end there. It was, you know, 20, 30, 40. Pick a number. It's a lucky dip. You pull something out, it's probably pretty close to it. But look, I think the key takeaway there is that Divine, even though they've got a really weird ending, they've got madness ensuing, chaos, they actually make it look pretty easy. A pretty comfortable win for them in the end. 2 wins back to back as well, and all of a sudden they're throwing that gauntlet down to everyone else in PCS APAC here for PCS 3. They're saying, we are back. We are here to defend our title, and we're ready to play. Back-to-back victories, already setting PCS 3 alight.
Yeah, when you look up LG Divine in the dictionary, it's going to just have next to it winning, because that's what they do a lot of. They win. And when they're at their best, they are probably the best team in this lobby, in the region, I guess, as a whole. Obviously, PCS 1, PCS 2, inconsistencies, not PCS 2, sorry, Chat Showdown and PCS 1, inconsistencies plagued LG Divine. They rectified that in PCS 2, and it looks as if they've carried that form now over to PCS 3, looking to close out 2020, looking to get 2 event wins in a row here for PCS, and what a game number 2. Still a long way to go, don't get it wrong, but they just do it when it matters. Speaking of when it matters, Angel Alliance doing it very much here on Miramar when it mattered. What a good start to them here for the first 2 matches, and what a crazy, crazy finish. The amount of smokes thrown there, as you said, can't count them all, otherwise we'll be here all broadcast. Big win for LG Divine, Jordan. We've seen some good signs from some unexpected teams, I guess, the likes of Angel Alliance, for instance, continue to just sort of keep our eye on them. But now going over to Erangel, we'll ask the question, can they, of course, keep it up on a different map?
It's a very, very good question indeed, and on the point of Angel Alliance, they're obviously doing a pretty good job of following in the footsteps of Archangel Predator, sitting in 4th place at the moment. It was Archangel Predator that finished in 4th place in Charity Showdown. So, again, if that trend continues, then definitely a good representative from the Philippines region. Hydra Gaming is another team that I'd probably throw a little bit of a shout out to. One of the newer faces to PCS APAC. We haven't seen them at this level of competition before, and they're sitting in 6th at the moment, so not doing too poorly for themselves. But it is a good point that you bring up there about Erangel. It's obviously the map that we're going to be moving on to for round 3 and 4, so for some of the teams that have struggled on Miramar, perhaps that's going to be a welcome change.
Potentially. I mean, at the same time, it might not be any different. You know, you look at a team like Fury and where they're at these first 2 games, you do have to wonder potentially what their mental state is like right now, because it's not a good start, right? They've made roster changes, and I'm going to be blunt. In the past, Jordan, when this team makes roster changes, they're not quite successful, right? They said it before last time that the iteration that works best for them was that original 4. They no longer are in that original 4, and right now they're in 10th place, just 2 points gained from Miramar, which in past seasons has been a really, really good map for them. Obviously, wasn't the case. We'll see how they respond, and that's really what matters the most. That's the match leaderboard, though. 16 points from LG Divine, and just kind of like match number 1, a lot of their points coming from those placement points. They only had the 5 kills in match 1, and only now the 6 in match 2. Obviously, for Cerberus and Angel Alliance, not so much the placement points, but more so the kill points.
Indeed, indeed. Lots of teams running away with a lot of points out of that one, and you're right. Kill points, I mean, they matter, right? If we go back to PCS2 APAC, I don't think I need to remind anyone exactly how much the kill points can potentially matter, because that is one of the tiebreakers, and it essentially comes down to that in a competition that is this close. So Cerberus and Angel Alliance doing a pretty good job of getting really, really nice amounts of kill points on the board there. Again, the other one to shout out, obviously, Hydra Gaming. Overall leaderboard, as you can see, we are establishing some leaders already. 2 chicken dinners on the board for LG Divine, up to 31 points out of 2 games. It's a really, really good start. Probably on par with what we saw from Q Confirm in that first season of PCS APAC, where they really just ran away with things. That was over the course of 4 or 5 games, though, for day 1. So whether or not Divine can keep up the pace for game 3 and 4 of tonight, we do still have to wait and see. But if they can do that, I mean, they might be able to have an even better season than the one that Q Confirm had, which was like after 10 games, it really looked like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, obviously now I guess the talking point could very well be whether or not they slip up once again like they did in PCS2 APAC. Obviously they didn't slip up that much in the end, though, because they did technically win. We're only 2 games in the books, though. Now, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we head over to Erangel for our next 2 matches. We will see, though, if Divine can continue this tremendous start to PCS3 APAC.
Champion, where are you? Nyaga. 상하이라고 시위. 상하이라고 비리고 뒤에서.
Well, Miramar is done and dusted. We're going to be heading over to the luscious green Erangel very, very shortly here for our 2 remaining matches of the opening night here for PCS3. Jordan, though, we were having a little bit of a conversation off air just quickly about one of the Oceanic teams in Fury and sort of where they're at after the first 2 games. Not a good start, 4 points, of course. For those unaware, they did finish second, but tied first, I guess, with PCS2 8-pack. And it's been a dismal start so far on Miramar. Obviously, they've had the addition of Flood after they got rid of Jukesy. You just have to wonder if they can't respond here on Erangel tonight, where they're going to be at mentally going into tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rough start for them, isn't it? I mean, I think I take a little bit more of a... I don't know where I want to really go with this, but I take a little bit more of a lax look at it than I think you have. I'm not so much going all in on this. It's only 2 games. Admittedly, Miramar has been the map that, you know, we've seen Fury in the past perform a lot better on than they have on Erangel, so I don't think that speaks well to their chances moving into this second map of the pool, obviously. But again, it is only 2 games, and I really don't want to read too much into that. I think they're a team that has shown the tenacity to be able to bounce back from bad days. We saw it last season. They had the really, really bad day, I think, on day 2, and then they bounced back with like a 50 or 60 point day on day 3. So
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, enough about Fury. Let's talk about these guys that are on the screen at the moment because they're the top 5 damage dealers for PCS3 so far. And
Evil Patrick.
yeah, Evil Patrick's in there, but I was going to actually point out Heisaki for Cerberus Esports. Now, we did have that season where he was leading from the front. And that was the season which Cerberus looked like they were going to win. And that was also the season where Heisaki had those issues and he wasn't able to play on the last couple of days. So I wonder, you know, are we seeing a repeat of that? Hopefully not with the, you know, the extenuating circumstances towards the end. But if Heisaki goes insane for this Cerberus roster, are they a real title contender?
Yeah, I think looking, I definitely remember. I don't know if it was PCS 1 or if it was PCS 2, but it was about the second half of the season that he actually missed due to those personal issues. So, and that was a big loss. Once he left that roster, it was the end for Cerberus. They just collapsed from that point onwards. He's the star man. He's the front man. That's why he was top damage in match number 2. That's why Cerberus are kicking along at the top after our first 2 matches. We now head over to Erangel, though, for match number 3 of the night. Of course, there will be one more to play after this before we conclude day number 1. What a start, though, for LG Divine. 31 points. And this is the thing, though. You know, you mentioned before that we're only 2 games in, but it's a 27-point gap to them and Fury. Like, Fury are once again playing catch-up. They're playing from behind. And I mentioned that in the pre-show, that that's something they didn't want to have to happen for this season. Well, it's too late because it's already happened in just 2 matches. And it could extend even further here because right now, I don't know who's going to stop LG Divine. They could run away with this. It felt like PCS 2, they were going to run away with it. At one point, it got up to like a 70 or 60-point gap. And then, of course, the comeback began. Maybe this time, they won't make the same mistake.
Well, luckily, it is a position that they are used to playing from, and they're generally able to make it work. Now, what is interesting immediately off the start, and I'm glad the observers have found out.
Hello.
It's the contest for Pachinki. Ferox and Magic are both contesting this town, and it is a town that you could theoretically say has enough buildings to allow 2 teams, but it is a fairly small town, so I'm quite interested to see whether this one is actually going to end up in a bloodbath or one team will concede.
Well, we are going to get a Sosnovka Island circle, although Fury actually going for their ult drop over towards Yasnaya rather than Sosnovka military base. So they might be just feeling a little tilted off that because typically they do loot down at military base and they haven't really had the best of luck, I guess, in PCS APAC throughout the year with these sort of circles. They get it here, but they're not actually there. Of course, we'll keep an eye on the Magic Esports versus Ferox hot drop over in Pachinki, as you would kind of suspect they're probably just looting up right now. At some point, maybe one runs into another. But like you said, Jordan, they might just sort of back off at some point. They could both be playing, I guess, a game of chicken in a sense. And I guess sometimes these things happen. You know, you have your scrims. One team really wants Pachinki. The other one also really wants Pachinki. And there's maybe no clear winner. Well, then they just say, let's battle it out, I guess, in the main event. And that's what this main event is. The thing is, sometimes, though, one of the teams may not actually want to take the fight. They just want to loot up and then get out. Get the vehicle and then get out. But looking at this circle, I mean, Angel Alliance, I mentioned it before over on Miramar. Are they a Miramar-only team, or are they going to bring it on Erangel as well? This is really the perfect start to Erangel, more than anything. That they could have had. As we look at the Pick'em challenge in terms of votes, I like this statistic. I like this little thing. I already know. I'm pretty sure number 1 is Unicorn Cyber,
which is strange.
Apparently, they've got a famous player on the team. I don't know. We haven't seen them participate. There they are. 83% of the votes. I'm going to say this right now for everyone watching: do not vote Unicorn.
Yeah,
that's my one tip.
They're the only team that hasn't gotten a point so far in PCS 3. I mean, it is only 2 games in, but yeah, I think it does speak for itself. LG
Divine is a great second option.
That's a good pick. Yep, that's a good pick. And Fury, admittedly, one would have thought would have been a good pick, but so far hasn't really been their day. Buriram's not a bad one either. I'd probably be looking at LG Divine and probably Buriram if I had to put my 2 votes in right at this second.
But you wouldn't, and you don't have to. For those who maybe first time playing along for the Pick'em challenges, you can, of course, wait. I'm not sure how much. I think it's actually at the halfway mark. I could be wrong. But you can, of course, check all of that in-game, and it tells you when the voting ends. So you don't have to do your vote right away. You can see how everything sort of plays out. And typically, out of the 4 regions, usually there's one sort of runaway winner. I think this time that might actually be Sonics from North America, from what I saw a little bit of. Unfortunately, shoot to kill, not looking too flash over there, as LG Divine going to make the cross over the Milta Bridge, and actually going to get free through Crossroads. No one's sitting over here. Bay already in the Sosnovka military base. Day Trader over, Magic Esports are over, Unicorn making their way over the White House Bridge. In terms of teams who have got a large distance to traverse, Hydra Gaming and Fury, the 2 furthest teams.
You know what I do find interesting, and you sort of mentioned it even there, is that Fury, they're in Yasnaya, Polyana. Normally, we've been seeing them drop towards the military island. And they haven't been having all that much luck when it comes to the circle shifts on our angle. It tends to go off of military island. They didn't... I think they went a whole season without it going down there once when they dropped there pretty much every game. This time they've gone up to Yaz, and now it's gone straight down to military. So maybe they're just cursed in that respect. Big rotation to make for them, as you do mention.
Is it
FTF as well?
No, sorry. I was almost talking to myself then. I forgot I was actually casting for a second. Purple Magic rotating. These things happen, Jordan.
What is going on? Oh, jeez, that scared me.
He just wanted the dramatic style points. BRM are fine. They got a boat. They're all good. No issues. Don't worry, Jordan. Calm down. As Venotica spots a couple of cheeky boys in the middle of the ocean here. Triple X actually going to be eliminated. So Venotica on the board. That's going to be the first death of match number 3. Can Venotica fight any more here? That 8 times being put to good use. Probably no more.
Oh, well, the attempt's going to be there, that's for sure. This is not fun for FDF. You know, look, it's always going to be tough rotating in on a boat, but when there's a team camping you on that rotate in as well, and they are not giving this one up. Urin's driving forward in that UAS, decides he wants to get himself another angle here. Big spray coming through from the barrel. I don't know how healthy that boat is at this point. Looks okay for now. But sooner or later, FTF is going to have to come in. It looks like, from what I can see on the map here, they're probably pretty safe now. There's no one sort of occupying the center of the military island toward the south down here by the dock. So they'll be able to get in there okay.
I was actually watching the North America stream, I think it was maybe this morning, and there's the discussion between Poro and Cami about what they wanted to call this new dock, as you mentioned. And I was thinking, what about Mini Novo?
That's not bad.
Yeah, because it doesn't actually have a name. It was obviously added with the new Erangel. Mip and Zuzu, my favorite name of 2020, is still being watched by Venotica. I'm not sure what the goal is here, because Mip and Zuzu is not going anywhere.
Yeah. I think he's done so. That's Nandu, by the way. He did play on From the Future last season, if I remember correctly. I think he's just going to give his life up here.
He's going to sleep with the fishes. Could he get an early knock onto Levi's? That would be horrible for LG Divine. Levi is just trying to get as much information here in this little drive-by. Does, of course, have the reinforcements arriving. NMC pushing right onto Elgin bots. Angel Alliance, I think this is a one-player show at the moment. The other 3 you can see on the expanded mini-map further north. Talking about a combination there from LG Divine. They're on the board early in match number 3.
Well, they're also in an interesting position, aren't they? They are right now, but there's a lot of teams around them, and it's just one small building. So, won't be a bad one to lock down if the circle shifts on top of them, because there's a lot of open fields around that house. But if they have to move, sooner or later, they'll find themselves in a bit more of a problematic situation. Either way, speaking of problematic situations, I thought Fury might be in one with the rotation that they had to make from Yasnaya, but hey, they dealt with the bridge camp last season. They don't need to deal with it this season. So they've been given a bit of a reprieve. There's no one actually on the bridge. You can see they're quite wary of something potentially happening, though, and they scouted it initially. Waikikamuka's going first in the motorbike. A little bit tougher to hit, maybe, than the guys in the car. He's a bit quicker. But Fury will get across okay. There is no one camping the bridge, so don't worry about that. You'll see that there on the map as well. This one has to go south, and it does. Ferox, Hydra Gaming, Victim Rise, Division X Gaming. The 4 teams that haven't made it over to the island just yet, and the 4 teams that are probably going to find it quite difficult to actually make it onto the island now.
I mean, there's still a lot of space. You're going to have the teams on the sort of more western portion of this new circle for phase 2. They're going to obviously shift inward, so that's going to open things up a bit for the likes of Day Trade, Division X, as they come from Primorsk. Obviously, they're not going to have the best positions. They're going to have to play from edge, clear along as they get in towards phases 3 and 4. But I think for the most part, I would be surprised if we don't have every team in this sort of circle. I think you're going to see the likes of Cerberus just shift a little bit. Bay are fine. You can already see how that western sort of portion of this circle has already cleared up. So Day Trade making their way in. South side, just north above that little mini Novo section of the docks, says Haisaki, says hello to Umama. Although Sulabi is going to get the refrag immediately, and that's really detrimental for Cerberus. That's their best player. That's their star man. Eliminated inside of 10 minutes here for match 3. We were just singing his praises in the pre-show.
Well, I mean, I got to say for Cerberus, their run so far in PCS 3 is very much mirroring their results in PCS Charity Showdown into PCS 2 to PCS 3. They had a rough start, a decent game, and then another sort of rougher start here. And that's sort of what we saw from them just in terms of their results overall in these seasons. They've had 2 sort of awkward seasons and 1 pretty good one. So they do seem to be, to me, a fairly inconsistent team. I will say that much. And it's kind of like go big or go home for Cerberus. And hopefully for them, this isn't going to be a case of go home. FTF, though, might be going home. They've run into LG Divine. They've actually managed to pick themselves a couple of kills up there, but they have also lost a couple of players as well. It's just 1 remaining player, Gypsy Danger, driving straight through the middle of the military base. And where can you possibly pull up that's going to be safe at this point? Very, very late in the game. Looks like he has managed to at least find somewhere for now.
I
mean, at this point, the teams that are injured and wounded are going to just send it further inward to the military base, and that's just going to really some time. LG Divine down to just 2. It's John and Levi's. MC and Nikki both eliminated, so I don't sense they're going to have 3 chicken dinners in a row. And it does spell good news, I guess, basically for everyone else in the lobby, for the other 15 teams, that LG Divine aren't necessarily going to run away with it after 3 matches. They're not going to have some extraordinary lead. They can still get a few more points, considering their position and then the circle, and obviously how it all shifts here on out for match number 3, but they're not going to have another big 15-point game like they've had for matches 1 and matches 2. Ferox are going to get a boat. Very fortunate that they've got this boat. I'm actually a bit surprised that there was still 1 left over. Yeah.
Blue right at their back. So, as you say, quite lucky. Swinging it around. Drift King. Who's in the driver's seat there? Didn't quite catch it.
Sweet Soul. Surely. I can just imagine him driving that with that beard.
Yeah. The beard's holding onto the steering wheel.
It is Sweet Soul. I was right.
Yeah. All right. Well, they managed to make it across their Ferox. So that's a start, but still quite a long run for them, and a fairly long run for Hydra Gaming, who incidentally are actually driving across the bridge. Look at this circle again, Jordan, though. This is going to be another circle where it's going to shift the people inside the circle. Not so much the injured teams. I don't think you'll see like LG Divine try and make too much movement. Angel Alliance are down to 3, but even they can start to shift. Division X Gaming have kind of been gifted away potentially to get to a decent spot if they make the early push. The likes of Day Trade, Sharper Esports, what did they do? Because all of a sudden, they are the meat in what's going to eventually be a sandwich. And if they hold around those down planes or at the bunker, it might not bode well, even if it does get them to the late game. I don't think they'll find kills. Hydra Gaming already rotating out to the very far west. They're going to then go down south in between Angel Alliance and Division X Gaming. And then the same will probably happen out here to the east. Purple Mood, Fury, and Fury will do the same, but from the opposite direction. So the teams in military base, the ones that are injured, will stay put. There's so much real estate down to the very south portion of the circle, but the problem is if you do go down there, very, very open as God Meow is going to take out Boston. Nordra's there to also capitalize, and Buram are on the board. Yeah, that is not where you want to nosedive straight into the ground in your Dacia. Unfortunate for him. Fortunate though for Buriram, who have that point on the board and have also now spotted out Ronan, at least from Fury. They might have had an idea that Fury was hanging around a little earlier on in the piece as well. They were fairly close by for a little while there. Mood, well, they get in with 3 alive, so it could be worse. We turn our attention back over to Angel Alliance, one of the positive surprises from this evening so far. Really know what to expect from them, and you were looking roster coming from the Philippines. And they've done pretty well so far.
They've done amazing. The question is, of course, coming in now to Erangel, can they keep it up? Right now, it's a bit of a shaky start here on Erangel. Plenty of time to turn things around. Still got 3 players up. Victim Rise, though, they can't turn around. They're in the blue. I don't think Ferox are going to do much better either. Sweet Soul's down. Rain's going to follow. Monty's dead before he even realized. And they're down to just Bryn. And unfortunately for Ferox, so far their run here in PCS3 APAC has been quite dismal. These first 3 games, they've got a lot to work on. They'll be able to watch the VODs, of course, after tonight. But improvements need to be made starting tomorrow night. And I guess the next game too.
And the next game. Yep, that's true. Well, let's see where the circle shifts, because that'll tell us a lot. If it goes over the military base, we might see a very similar end to what we got there on Miramar in Game 2. Code is on the screen for those of you who are interested in that, and it's a bit of a 50-50.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that's it's not really a 50-50, is it, though? Because really, the north side's where you got all the cover. The south side's just open field. You know, I was going on a bit of a tangent before, mainly because there was 3 different sets of compounds. So if it did go south, obviously the water, though, makes that really possible. So only Division X and Buriram kind of went to those positions because they had no other option. Now it's going to be intriguing to see what they do from here. Hydro Gaming, their position, I mean, if they hold that spot, they might be all right for a long while, except having to deal with, of course, Division X Gaming. Insight going to get revived here by Ronan. It's a big game for Fury here. They need all players up. They're outside of the circle. They've got a lot of work to do, and they don't really have much time either.
That's true. Driving right in the direction of the remaining Purple Mood players is Waikika Mukau, making that early rotation in. He's going to pull up on top of them. This is a situation we see fairly often when it comes to military base finishes. 1 team in the bunker, 1 team on top of the bunker. Plenty of real estate for everyone. Everyone's happy. Unless, of course, your upstairs neighbor is walking around with high heels on, similar to mine, on a fairly regular basis. But that's okay. We'll leave that one by the wayside. Magic have made it into the military base, playing around the silos. I've never been a huge fan of this position. It always just feels like there's so many angles you can get shot from, and nowhere is really safe.
It's a temporary position that you can kind of just do your little circle around and move and try and find some information. Keep going, keep getting on the move, and then make your way over to the ATC, I guess. The intriguing thing right now, from what I can see on my map screen, is the 2-2 split that Sharper Esports have got. They're occupying 2 of the bunkers here in the military. Now, that is extremely aggressive based on this current circle. You would anticipate that at some point, I don't know who, I don't know when, a team is going to want to crash into one of those bunkers. Now, of course, whichever one does get crashed, they are going to get some assistance from the other bunker, but it's still, they're so far away. They're going to have to hit some tough shots. I'm a little surprised that they don't have all 4 together, but I would be even more surprised if they don't group up phase 5. So they might hold it for now, then phase 5 group up potentially, or they just, I guess, maybe can't group up. I would imagine they should have vehicles inside of the bunkers. If you look at Buriram United, they're not inside of the circle yet. Really, I think the only thing they can play off is the terrain and potentially the fence line that obviously encapsulates military base.
On the topic of Sharp, I think it's a pretty hard call to make, right? Because there is a very real possibility that if you send all 4 players into the same bunker, you just get camped and you can't get out if you do have to move. So I think it's almost too much of a risk even to have all 4 in the same, unless it's very, very late game where you probably know you don't have to move. But in this kind of a situation, you're still not sure exactly where the circle's going to shift. I think this is the correct decision from Sharp at the moment. Having a look at Bay, team that you sort of mentioned earlier, keeping an eye on teams rotating in, if there were any. Not too many, though. They are the last sort of team coming in from the northern side of the map. Here comes the next circle shift, though, and this is the one
South.
It will tell us where it's going to get interesting. If it goes south, that's going to be a really disgusting circle for the most of these teams.
I think either way it's going to be disgusting, and it is. Yeah. I was going to say, if it had gone north, right, you're going to almost have a similar finish to what we had for match number 2 with Monte Nuevo. You're going to have these buildings, you're going to have a lot of smoke, you're going to have a lot of teams crashing, sending into buildings. This does really get the best of both worlds, right? You've still got that fence line. There's still a little bit of space inside a military base. Not much, but it is going to cause, of course, teams to all want to send it. There goes the push into the bunker. Nephahor literally just throws his life away by going so far deep.
Yeah,
gets out too early. He ends up going down because he got out too early from the Dacia. And it's only Lokis and Sophia that remain for Battle Arena Elites. Fury involved as well. I think on top. Potentially. Or behind it. They're technically on top. Yeah.
They tried to go early, which, you know, isn't always necessarily a bad strategy. But the fact that Buriram is still up on that hill above them means that there are some pretty disgusting angles that can fire down on top of Fury. It's not just Fury that's copping the bullet, though. Angel Alliance have run into Division X Gaming, and that hasn't gone too well for them. Lots of teams going to run into a very, very similar kind of position here because they all have to come out of the military base. There's like 2 or 3 teams that can gatekeep them, but everyone else has to move. There should be a feeding frenzy for the likes of Buriram.
Feeding frenzy for basically anyone that's not getting breached right now. Magic Esports and LG Divine over the ATC doing battle. As we can see, Fury just healing up there. Levi's on top here. Oh, he just spotted one at the last second. Didn't want to re-peek it, though, in fear that he had been found out as well. He hadn't get Valix. There goes Flood. And that's another bad game for Fury coming up in the books. And there has been some kills found for LG Divine. I think 3, in fact. They started on 31. They did have actually 1 kill before they lost their 2 players. So doing all right so far, the little duo there in the military base, but they do have to get moving. 50 seconds until phase both knocked, and they're both going to be finished off. Daytrade doing very well to hold on here. Noran's just maneuvering around, along with Flash still alive. Loki's and Sophia for Battle Arena Elites looking to just get to this fence line. Loki's is. And to try and avoid the fire from Buriram, who are loving this circle right now. They've got that high ground looking right into the military base. And Sharper are on the move. Who've still got all 4 players alive.
It's the beauty of the 2-2 split. They've made it work, and now that they're later into the game, they can rotate, consolidate their position in that bunker. It might still not work out too kindly for them. It's highly likely that they won't.
Yeah, you had to get position.
To get to this stage of the game, they're one of the only teams that has all 4 players alive, and they're definitely the only team to get out of the military base with all 4 alive.
Fury.
So
look at Fury.
That gives them something, and Fury also gets something with the circle shift coming through there. So it's not the end of the world just yet for Fury. It's not going to be a big game from them, but they might still get some points on the board.
Lawson has been very good for Cerberus. Just gets a nice little cheeky knock onto Flash, but that's all it'll be. Down to the final 8 teams. So placement points on offer here for match 3. Number 1. We saw that again. Southern shift away from even more cover. And teams like Sharp Esports, all 4 of them are going to have to come out of that bunker now. Sophia has to hold that fence line for just a little bit longer. And then has to get moving across that very open road. Buriram are probably going to be the recipients. You would think of these teams coming out of the military base. They got that higher ground. They can obviously get those vantage points, and I think even quite safely as well. I don't think Division X Gaming can really see too much of them, or even Hydra Gaming for that matter. Look at this little 1-1 split on either side of the road here for Waika Gamukau and Ronan of Fury. They're going to have their hands full very, very soon. Not just yet. There's still 1 minute and 40 seconds, and they're right on the edge of that circle. So there's another minute or so of sitting and waiting for those 2. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 players north of them. Noran's on the move early on, and Cal will happily take that kill, looking to get some redeemed points here in match number 3. Some delayed points that they couldn't quite acquire over on Miramar. Daytrade Gaming will be eliminated in 8th position, but Sharper make it over.
This grenade could be huge from Nordra. Has it gone deep enough? It looks good. Lands on top of all of them, but just some splash damage, not a knock. Man, if that would have been a 3-man grenade kill, it would have been insane. But not the case. Still, Buriram, as you can tell, very aware of the position of this team. Sophia is as well. He's going to nab himself picked up a free. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
He's in
Bowling
around 6th place Battle Arena Elites, but to be honest, not a terrible start to their campaign on Wrangle. It's turned around a little bit for Bay. Certainly seems to have turned around a little bit for Fury as well on this map. But Buram continuing to put in good work. Sharper also continuing to put in good work. So those are the two power players in this game. They're both of the teams that have 4 or 3 players alive, and they're looking to extend the lead that they have over the majority. Here's another grenade getting thrown in by Nordra. I think that was just a flash this time. Still got one grenade, but
they know exactly where they're at, but I think that first nade didn't give them enough information, and since then has been a little bit more hesitant in continuing to throw even more, especially when you're low on utility. Fury are going to win.
Fury's going to win, you reckon?
Yep. Look at that circle shift. That is disgusting. They do not have to move from these little guard posts.
No one is beating Buram right now. They are on 9 kills. They've got 5 players alive. They've already got the knock onto Hydra Gaming. That's Mickey down on the floor. I think it's just 1 player left for Hydra Gaming. Division X only have a couple. Fury have come out of their compound. I mean, this is where it actually does fall apart for Buram. If all of these other remaining teams turn their attention up the hill and watch Buram as they rotate down, it can fall apart. But if they're given the opportunity to take 4-on-2s, 4-on-1s, they'll just trade out and get down the hill okay.
Well, this could be the entry point though for Waikiki Kamukau to just get an easy kill, because Nordra spinning or sliding, I guess, more than anything. Was going very, very slow there towards the end. 5 kills for Waikiki Kamukau, who was just woken up and has found some energy. 9 kills for Buram. It's been a great game, but you probably would have suspected they would be able to go on and I guess get the chicken dinner from the position that they had. But now down to 3 players. One of them I can't even see. Canaxi actually went fishing and got a crate and is now making his way back. Very risky, but will be successful in that retrieval of the crate and the goodies that were there. IQ 500 and Neil still alive for Division X Gaming, one of the better games that we've seen from them as well. They had it a little bit rough at times on Miramar, a bit inconsistent, and Hydra Gaming doing well too, center of the circle. But right now, it's a 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 3. It's anyone's game from here if they play it perfectly.
I don't mind the position that Fury is in at the moment, like you said. I mean, you can't call them to win. I don't know if I'll go so far. It's still anyone's game at this point, but they are a team that has more hard cover than the rest. Canaxi perhaps has a rude awakening here for him. IQ 500. Would like to maybe creep up on him or just chuck a grenade in that direction. Doesn't cook it for too long, so Canaxi would have had time to move if he needed it. Didn't go quite deep enough.
Oh, man. That nade might be the one, actually. Nope. Just falls short as well. I think he actually looked a bit closer than he actually was, to be honest. That Molotov's not going to do too much. And actually, no more nades. They still have 5 smoke grenades remaining. I think if Buram can deal with Division X cleanly here, I think they potentially take back the favorite. So that nade is just skipped. What? The bounce? I don't know what just happened there with that nade. There's a 1-for-1 trade between Hydra Gaming and Fury. Cow is knocked. Ronan has 4 nades. Make it 3 now after letting that one rip. Mickey just sitting at this Dacia. Obviously, the retrieval and the survival of Waikiki Kamukau is imperative. If they are going to win this game, Ronan needs to get this revive onto Cal. And it looks as if that's now going to be his #1 aim, and that's his #1 goal. And he might just be successful here because there's no one really pushing onto their location.
Yeah, in fact, actually, Buram have rotated down to the south. All 3 of the players I can see there on the mini-map. And so they'll be getting into an engagement with Division X Gaming and Hydra Gaming far more likely than they are to get into a fight with Fury, who right now have been largely ignored up toward the northern side of the map. If they just stay chill here, don't get involved in the fight, perhaps the other teams will finish each other off. And Ronan and Waikiki Kamukau can sneak in with a victory for themselves. We've seen Fury struggle to get wins on the board in PCS2.
Yeah.
And here's another opportunity for them. So let's see if they can convert. Again, I'd probably still put my lot in with Buram at this point, given they have the numbers advantage, but they are in a pretty difficult crossfire. I guess it remains to be seen where this next circle is going to go.
加亏啦你，加亏啦用邊？
Everyone is quite keen on just chilling, sitting where they are, not moving, not doing anything.
Well, it's phase 9. It's probably just going to go a little center. I don't think it's going to do any. Yeah, there's nothing else it's going to do. So
Right.
I think that phase 8 went really quick. I think we were both ready for like the phase 8 shift, and we were actually like, oh, hang on, it's actually phase 9.
Yep.
And the dramatic music makes its entrance.
You love it. You love to hear it.
You love to hear it, but I'm not sure much is really going to happen here for about maybe another minute or so.
Well, I hear this is actually the Xenox personal playlist music that we've got. So thank you very much to Caster Xenox for providing the music today.
Kanaxi does spot IQ 500 in the grass. He landed that initial headshot and was successful with a follow-up spray. And now the push comes from Fury as well from the other side. And in the end, Division X Gaming do get pinched. 3 versus 1 versus 2. Fury with the 2, Hydra Gaming's Mickey still alive. But as you keep sort of pointing out, Jordan, it's Buriram who have the numbers. And now they have the 3 versus 2. Can Fury find their first win since probably PCS 1? I don't think so now, because Edie gets the knock onto Waikiki. Be like Ronan. And maybe find a 1 versus 3. But look at the position. You can see he's got no cover at all. Does spray into the smoke. Almost gets it now. Does get it, but he can't get a second one. The refrag comes out. Buriram United Esports are on the board with a chicken dinner for PCS3 APAC as they are looking quite strong and now take top spot.
That is pretty good from Buriram. If I remember correctly, it was actually Ronan that won a 1v1 against your drive
Indonesia
to give Buriram a second place finish in round number 13. So there's a little bit of revenge from Buriram. They win the 3v2 this time against Waikiki and Ronan. I will say, I don't see Buriram being the kind of team to throw away a 2v3. Once they do get rid of that remaining Hydra Gaming player, that's sort of the X factor out of the picture there. And it sort of almost seemed that they were going to run away with that game. Fury did pretty well for themselves, though. You got to say, getting a second place. Yeah, again, the meme continues. It's not a win for them, but a second place from the position that they were in. I think they got like 9 kills or 10 kills or something like that out of that game as well. Definitely not a disappointing performance from them there at all. And they'll be happy to see the day turning around a little bit. So great stuff from Buriram. It's going to rocket them up the standings. I think they might even be in first place after that. But you can say the same thing for Fury. You can say the same thing. Hydra Gaming did pretty well, took a 3rd place. Not too many kills on the board, but enough to keep the scoreboard ticking over, which is something that I like to bring up all the time. And they've been a consistent force so far in PCS3. So for those top 3 teams out of game number 3, very, very good stuff. Few teams missing out, few teams getting some points on the board where they otherwise hadn't on Miramar. And you can start to see this PCS3 APAC really developing some nice storylines.
Similar storylines, though, that we've seen throughout the year, which is usually the, sort of like Thailand versus Vietnam. There's always 1 and 2 is Thailand and Vietnam, switching around, I guess. In this case, obviously, Buriram take top spot for the time being. And will they be able to potentially go all the way this time? Something that LG Divine were able to do. PCS2. A long way to go. We've only played 3 games, and I guess that also shows why you don't want to get ahead of yourselves too much. But what I will say, Jordan, and you said new storylines. I said similar storylines, because something we saw a lot of in PCS2 was when LG Divine weren't having the best of games, they still found a way to get points. They still found a way to actually get something out of it. In this case, 6 points gained. From what was a very horrible start to then obviously a bit of fortune in terms of going to ATC and inside a military base. They had the circle for a while, but that like a quote unquote poor game from LG Divine still got them 7th in terms of points, 6 points from that match. But obviously Buriram 24 in total, the most that a team has gotten so far for PCS3 APAC. Fury with 14. That was certainly a big performance from them.
It's testament to the consistency that we've seen from Buriram so far today, isn't it? Given that Divine has won 2 out of 3 of the games and they're still not first place. That's just insane, the amount of numbers that Buriram has been able to put up in the fragging department. It's 25 kill points for Buriram and only 17 for Divine. So you can just see that kind of a difference when we bring up the total leaderboard here. It's 3 points total difference. Divine getting a lot of placement points on the board. but the kill points, I mean, Buriram have fragged out, and that is something that we've always associated with them. They're always a team that won't shy away from the fight, and they're very good in those fights.
Sorry,
so if they keep up that kind of performance, then
what I team to not go chubby.
Not a surprise. I feel like they're probably the team that most deserves victory. Hasn't got it yet in PCS3. You could make the argument that Fury does as well because they were, like we said, equal first, having lost based on the kill differential.
Fury Aussie Denny.
But
Old school.
Third, second, and
Pubg.
all of the PCSs that we've had in the showdown so far are definitely in with an argument of respect as well.
Pubg.
They definitely are.
Pubg Denny.
I don't think anyone would be complaining if Buriram take out PCS3 APAC. Long way to go.
King go chubby, you know, I'm low down. Game point now.
They've been such a stalwart throughout 2020. It is nice to see them in the top spot, but it's only the top spot after 3 games. They've got to do it for quite a bit longer. November. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, it's going to be our
you might
of the night.
Bobby best me out. Yeah, man.
Good head, I got it.
Skinny piare, vamos.
You don't ever know.
Do you piane, la?
You run the boy to AG Dynally.
Egine be a Dajao to be an Thailand, the lady 9 years.
Little Janet.
Jan. Oh, it's on BIU. BIU, white. The zone Dawali.
But I'm a face 90. Some only jar or show can.
To tell you what.
So, yeah, the police, which is good line and said this way, what you jarring. Yes, we are talking that. He could have you. Ship card. I do so could I go to she go with the item maybe it's young Jenny. Asia Pacific.
Do some la. The boy go to Kura Chavi, no?
Nakuchavi.
Nakara. I go, yeah, what ticket at the guy young. You put a young you learn. Game point now.
They're all yeah.
Germany done lonely, yeah. You see it.
Check quit on me.
Game on the car, top down or error. She's a barber, right? Oh, General also went on that bro trading. သူဆိုရင်နောက်ခု3ခုတော့ရအဲဒီမှာတစ်ခါကုတ်ကိုပြလိုက်တာ Doing good. ဒီခေါ်တော့ BR ဆမ်းလားအဲဒီပဲဆမ်းလားမသိပါသူရဲ့ big season တော့မကောက်ဒါပေမဲ့သူတို့ကဒီ SCA ဆာမလာကစားတော့အဲ့လောက်ကြီးဟောမလို့ပြင်မကောင်း ဘာပဲမလာဘူးစလုံးကြီးနေပဲလာတာ M2 screen ကကွာဈေးကြီးရတာ
One game remaining here tonight for PCS3 APAC in what has been a very fun start to the season, Jordan. We've had it all. We've had LG Divine, of course, winning back-to-back on Miramar, and then we've got Buriram United, probably their biggest competitor throughout 2020 as a whole, picking up the win and now taking top spot. One game to go tonight, and I just wonder if we've got ourselves a bit of a king on Miramar and a king on Erangel situation.
Well, I guess we will have to wait and see. If there was a queen on Miramar, it would have been Buriram, and so far, I don't know that Divine are living up to that statement on Erangel themselves. They didn't have an amazing game. It was okay. Anyway, top 5 damage charts so far. I have to imagine this was from last game. It was Day 1 match 3. Buriram and Fury, which is not a huge surprise at all. He got knocked out earlier in the piece, but he was the PCS 2, I should say. Maybe PCS 1. Time sort of all blends together.
It's been a long year.
Yeah, but he's definitely a player to watch. He's definitely someone that if he wasn't taken out early in that game, could have really put the numbers on the board and is likely to continue to do that. Buriram storming through game 1 on Erangel and heading into match 4 of this evening, the second on this map. They are going to be trying to do that once again to hold on to the slight lead that they have in this final game of the evening.
There's not too much of an emphasis to hold top spot, but I would say it would be kind of nice, I guess, to end the night in top spot and probably end tomorrow night in top spot. Have that week where you're number 1 is always a good feeling. You don't have to feel like you've got to catch up or you've got to climb. I would say, though, regardless of what happens from here, you know, Buriram United, LG Divine, those two, above all, are going to be very happy with themselves after day number 1, regardless of what happens even in this match. It's more so up to the likes of Victim Rise, Cerberus, Sharp Esports, and so forth. They need to have a really big game here for the final match of the day. Now, another hot drop over in Pachinki between Ferox and Magic Esports. Nothing came of it last time out, Jordan. I don't think much will come from it this time either. And we get a normal circle.
We do, but the beauty
Wait, TPP, that would be TPP.
still an element of doubt as to whether this ends up north
Well,
or
yeah,
south of the
free view
river.
ကြည့်လို့ရတယ်
The betters would probably say
TPP
it goes
ပဲဟုတ်တယ်မလား
south. There's a little bit
Wow.
more toward the
First
southern
person, first
side,
person.
but
ဘာ
hardship
အခု
toward
ကောက်ပြနေဟာ
this phase,
TPP ပုံစံနေ
definitely change.
တို့ကဘယ်လိုကြည့်လို့ရတယ်
It's a better one for Fury, though. They won't have to rotate all the way down to Sosnovka Island, although that didn't seem to be too much of a problem for them last time. Based on the drop locations that we're seeing here, I mean, with the exception of
PC
being
ကောက်တဲ့ပုံစံကြည့်နေ
probably
ကော
where we see too much
TPP တော့
early action. There isn't really anyone in close proximity.
ပြီးတော့မှဟို player ရဲ့ပြန်ပြောင်းကစားတာ
And like you said, unlikely to see a whole lot coming from that one. I'm sure if we are going to, we'd see the observers swap over there. But both teams more than likely happy to just loot up, go their separate ways, and get out of there with all 4 players alive.
ပြီးရရတယ်
Yeah,
ကွာ
that's basically what happened in the first game as well. And
ပေးမလဲတကယ်ကိုအကြိုက်မပေးဘူးတဲ့
hectic
ဘွဲ
circle that they had to contend with as well, going down to Sosnovka Island. So when you have a circle like
Face
that,
two
sometimes
side,
maneuvering
Peter.
around Pachinki, you might actually run into them. I think they'll be pretty safe. I think they'll be fine over there. I think Fury, though, the ones to keep an eye on this game. And yes, Naya, Ronan's already sort of pushed to the north of Rozhok, across the
Yeah, where would it,
close,
right?
actually,
When
to
he's young.
John. So LG Divine and Fury both with a similar mindset in terms of where they
You
where
know,
they
cook
would
sound.
position themselves. But I don't think it's going north. I mean, if we go off the statistics, there's a larger
Yeah.
portion of the circle south of the river. Now, this is one of my favorite circles, by the way, Jordan. I love when we
Okay.
get these Rozhok River circles because it's like this 50-50, north, south. Which one do you go?
ဒီမှာ
And really, all you can do is just
Come on,
play the
Aaron Gay,
statistics.
ကား
Sometimes
နဲ့
the
မော
south
င်း
side's
လာ
a bit
ရင်
bigger, sometimes the north
ခံ
side's a
တည်
bit
တည်
bigger.
တာများရ
You just have to go to the one that's a bit
မီ
bigger
ရာမပို့
and
ဆို
try
ရ
your
ပါ
luck. I mean,
Mm.
you just
Well,
back
I think I
your
know,
more than
yeah.
anything in, get the best position, obviously, but nonetheless, I don't know if this is the sort of circle where you go north on phase 1. I think you want to probably just hold around that Yazzie bridge, and that's what Fury are able to do in this particular match, is use that Yaznaya bridge as a way to go either north or south of the river. And we do see over in Pachinki some shots being fired. I don't know if we're going to have this hard
Oh,
engagement,
no.
but Rain, that is so unfortunate.
Yeah,
Donkey
oh, Pierre,
from
come
the
on,
other
Danny.
side has just put a massive dent into Ferox's chances
ညောင်ဒီကောင်နဲ့
of
chance
getting anything in this game.
နည်းနည်းလေးမှရလိုက်တာနဲ့ကောင်ကျွေးတော့
want to be bold.
လွတ်မလွတ်
If
ဘူး
they could look to
နည်းနည်းလေးပေါ်တာနဲ့ကိုတည်တာပဲ
I don't think they will.
ဘယ်လိုမှလုပ်ရ
ဆော
လဲ
င်းကားတော့
Has he gotten all the way around there? That's a huge flank unspotted and just comes up straight behind Rain. That's the end of him.
ဟုတ်ပါကြောက်ပြ
Pretty happy about that, I'm sure. Doesn't look like Tonkei and the rest of the
Sure way.
Magic Boys are looking to continue to push the issue. Well, maybe Tonkei is. The rest of Magic just holding quite
အာ
stealthily where
ချီ
they are.
ရ damage
He's
ရ
on the move again.
ချစ်ကြရ
This is very interesting. He's going to
တစ်
continue
ချက်တည်း
rotating
တ
around.
လက်တက်ကင်
Ferox.
နေတာဦးစီးနေ
I mean, at this point, do you really expect him to be up at church?
မရသေးဘူးတဲ့
But he has to move regardless from that position he was at, because if he doesn't move, then Ferox has got a bit of an idea of where he's at. Now they
Sure,
got no
yeah.
idea.
But the assumption would be he's just going
Sonic got Chinny Kong, Sonic.
to the safety of his
ဆို
team.
နေရှိ
Not
တပြေ
continue to push aggressively and get up to church, which is where he is
Yeah.
now.
ဆိုနေရ
He spotted Monty.
Sony
but
I
he's
check
actually
him
spotted
body.
Tonkei back.
ကျွန်တော်အဲ့ကောင်ထည့်တနေအေးအဲ့ကောင်ထည့်အဲ့တေးကိုယူ
Switzerland's in the same building there too, also watching. So it seems as if they know where Tonkei is. The rest of Magic Esport are
ဟမ်
a bit further away
MG
from
က
Ferox.
Paris
Oh, yeah, they definitely know that he's there.
အာ
Someone call it,
Now the shot's coming through.
Baby.
He's copping a few
Baby.
bullets. He's got a bit over eager, peeking a bit further behind the rock.
You know, Ty sounded
Exposed
really
himself,
weird.
punished for it a little. Not taken down though, and he's still able to provide that crossfire angle. So it's not a fun spot to be in for Ferox. They're going to be spotted moving out of their buildings regardless of where they go. By the way, seems the action is lying down Cheeky for the moment, and we'll keep an eye on Bay rotating up off Sosnovka Island. Remember,
ချီနိုင်ဖို့မရဘူး
couple of shots fired in the direction of Ferox, couple
That's
of shots received, but it is
That's
what it
Swiss
is.
old
အေး
pictures.
ကြီးက
Jordan.
ပ
I
လာင်း
can't.
ကောင်တီး
You
ပါ
love it.
I can't.
freaky
What's with the hair?
He's a
It's
cutie.
like-
I'll give him a big kiss on the forehead.
It's got like the
ဒီ
comb
စား
over
ဆို
hair.
ပြင်ရတယ်
I don't know why he's still peeking this. They've got to find a way out.
အော်ကောင်းလိုက်ရ
They've
ကွာ
got to just find a way out. They're just
Oh,
using
yeah.
up
တဲလေးပေါ်တာတော့ခေါင်းထိကိုထိရချီကိုပြစ်လိုက်တယ်
almost depleted. I mean, Monty doesn't even really have any meds besides 10 bandages. You've already lost a player, so you're not going to get much from this game.
Okay.
I think at this point, they're just surrounded, and they probably feel like they're surrounded. And making that mad dash out the back door is no longer a viable strategy. And it's, I think, the best strategy right now, considering obviously this position is inside of the phase 1 circle, is to just see how aggressive does Magic Esports get here. Do they push into our building? And if they do, then that actually gives us a chance to win the fight. So that's potentially what Ferox might be thinking here. I don't actually know, but that's my assumption, that's my guess. Is while they are getting pretty greedy here, Magic Esports, and they are pushing really close now.
Going downstairs by... I have an understanding, I think, that Monty is still there. Potential problem for everyone in Pachinki as well. Buriram lurking nearby. Unlikely that they'll crash into Pachinki. If they sense blood in the water, maybe they'll give it a crack. They trade also on the way in, very close to Pachinki. So all the teams that have come from the southern part of the map have more or less made it into the circle, exception being Jukesy for obvious reasons. He was driving on 2 wheels, which was less than ideal. He's got it going.
He's going to go to
arriving inside the safety of the circle fairly shortly, rejoining Bay, who are set up just to the west of the shelters. The standoff continues in Pachinki. Sweettalk can't afford to make a mistake of walking up the stairs here, though. If he does, I remember watching that angle, takes his head off.
Well, come on, go. Engagement over on Potato Hill, or potentially one that might transpire pretty quickly. He's getting flanked by Subang. Cerberus does catch him pretty quickly. Noran's had no idea what the flank was happening. Was watching also the top of Potato Hill. Cerberus were up there. Flash is gone in a flash. Not going to be sticking around. Send it back over to Veronica. Pubg Hill's even further to the south. In this final game of the night, away from phase 2, and Tonkei's on Ferox's roof.
They are not giving up, are they? That's probably.
MG Subi,
from Monty.
Oh, man, this is really aggressive though. From this is really aggressive. And now that we've got this phase 2 circle, which that's a spicy one over at the Rosshawk River. This little engagement comes to an end one way or another. Magic Esports, if you really want those kills, you're gonna have to push in and get them. That's what they're basically saying. Come here and come get us. Otherwise, they need to give up. They need to start heading out because they need to get a good position for this next circle. Now, this is where you probably want to get apparently, Kamuka died. They just went from the Yazzie Bridge, made their way over, but Hydra Gaming is there. There you go, Sweet Soul and Monty, and you guess it, it's Tonkei, who's got a 3K. Again.
Well, can he get a 4K here because he's leading the charge straight into Bryn? Doesn't quite finish him off, but 6 HP. Bryn will not be lasting too much longer. Pops a grenade down at his feet. Can't be pushed as a result for the moment, but sooner or later, he is going to be dropping. And that is that. The 4K from Tonkei. Boom, single-handedly brought Ferox to their knees. Now Fury doing the same to Nikki, the first one, popping the shots across. That's a great shot.
Oh, what the fuck?
Onto Levi's as well.
And a ferry.
Maybe there was a king and a queen.
Old school is on
Miramar and Erangel, and to uphold their end of the bargain to take second best on Erangel, but it's not looking like that. 2 players off the back. That is an unceremonious loss as well.
I don't even know about second best. Oh,
nice. What the fuck?
Getting onto 2 ends. Finish off the work. And this is what I want to see from Angel Alliance. They had a bit of a quieter game in match 3. On Erangel. 4 up. Good position. Can they show us what they were able to show us over on Miramar, now over here on Erangel? Bunch of teams around them. Off to a decent start. 1301 is going to go down to Neil of Division X Gaming. And in a minute time, Jordan, there's 1, 2,
Why are you
3,
fighting
4,
from
5,
Jian, do you know?
6 or 7 teams
So
on
young
the
corner.
south portion of this Rosok River. If
Got
they
it
don't
on
get
muscle
active
memory.
for
Yeah,
phase 3,
reaching
they're
it.
all going to be in a lot of trouble because there's not much real estate available up north. It's already taken by Hydra, Purple, Fury, Division X, Angel Alliance, and obviously Spice Mixer, right? If those teams have to come down south, they could be in some trouble. But I would guess for them, the teams up north, to make their way south and crash into the likes of apartments, then say the other option.
Well, Xenox, let's see if Long K finish off what Tonkei started, because Tonkei
Fire rate got smashing away. That may be nearly me, right?
How many Ks can I say in one sentence? Probably more than that.
44 and 49.
They are going to be headed right in the direction of Unicorn Cyber. Division X Gaming with 4 players alive. Unicorn Cyber only a couple. Not a good place for them to be stuck.
Look at
all the grenades just being thrown straight on in.
Okay.
Well, basically, that's where we're going to finish. We're going to finish this game at Hydra Gaming. The Asnight, water, because it's water.
Laser tower, laser.
Could have fooled me.
Almost didn't try though. That blue just defending for his life on this staircase, but yeah, 100%. I mean, phase 5, we know exactly where that's going to go, and that is obviously where all these players and teams are going to know as well, where it's going to start to head. They can play off of that. That blue almost got one. Fergus, though, with a quick turnaround, saving the day.
Oh, yeah, they got that. They got it. No,
a moment out of the smoke. Neil going to go deal with Clee now. I think that will be the end of Unicorn, who will end day number 1 with just 1 solitary point. I'm not sure if they're going to be gaining too many more votes on the Pick'em challenges after their performance today.
Well, where do we go from here? Because Magic, the team that sort of started themselves in pitching, trying to deal with Ferox, are perhaps getting a sense of why they shouldn't have done that, because they are now one of the few teams that has yet to rotate into the circle. Marina Elites have been largely unscathed. They've really just rotated all the way up from the Military Islands. Keeping an eye on
season 2 လုံးကလည်းအဲ့လိုပဲကားတိုက်ခိုင်ရေးတည်ရတာတွေဆိုလို့စီးရမျိုးပင်တိတ်မကောင်းနေမှပြောတယ်
and they're also
ဒီကောင်လေး AMPC ရဲ့
reasonably comfortable.
Look at the drop off though. I know you said, yeah, like look at the drop off though, Jordan, from 11th to 16th. You go from 19 to 7th.
liquid show နော်မဟုတ်တာတို့ရိုက်ပြတယ်တို့ရဲ့ game လုံးရ
19 points. It's only 6 points away from 3rd. It's a massive amount of points in the middle section of this leaderboard right now. Santos is going to be eliminated by Hexagon from the future. These two teams starved of points throughout day number 1. Are you alright, Jordan? I heard some sirens going off.
The coppers are coming to get me. Untainted. He wants his casting spot back, but he's not able to get inside the house, luckily.
Can't
get up the elevator. Well, we've reached the eye of the storm. This is what I like to do.
All right.
You know, we've had a bit of action. Things have slowed down now as everyone's found a position inside of the circle, and really, we're just waiting for the next circle to pop.
ဒီမှာ team တော့ကောင်းတယ်လက်နဲ့ကြောင်းကိန်းကိုကွန်ပျူတာနဲ့ကစားတာရနဲ့ဘလို့
ဟုတ်တည်ကြတယ်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ e-sport ကဝင်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ကျွန်တော်တို့နောက်ဆုံးဆုံးပြီးတော့ရောက်သွားတယ်
We knew where it was going to go.
ပို့ပြီးသွားပါ
Very suspenseful circle for us.
ဘယ်လိုကောင်းလဲငါတို့သိမရိုက်ပြရတယ်လို့တခြားသိမရိုက်
That was going to go.
Yeah, no, that
definitely did its job in eliminating the water. And in terms of the recipients, I mean, obviously I said it before, Hydra Gaming, great spot. They're happy. Victim Rise in a good position. Angel Alliance just found an AWM for Algin bots.
FDF
Not everyone does.
No, he doesn't want it.
In the DMR meta.
Airdrop ကောက်ပြီးမှ
တကော team ပေါ်နေ shift exactly as
ဘောတော့ဘုံနဲ့မကဲသွားဘဲနဲ့မခေါ်ဘဲနဲ့လစ်သွားတယ်နေတော့ချန်သွားပြီ
ဝိုင်းပြစ်နေရတယ်ဘရိုကလည်းနှစ်ဖွဲ့ညက်ပြီးပြစ်တယ်သူတို့သိပါဘူး
ဒီကောင်ပြေးလို့ရပါတယ်ဟိုဘက်ဒီဘက်တွေဘောတော့မောင်းမပြေးနေရတယ်
finishing blow.
ကျွန်တော်လည်းအဲ့ဒါထိုင်ကြည့်ရလုံးဝမရတော့ကဲလို့ကျွန်တော်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်ကဲမှာမဟုတ်
driving straight into him.
ကွာ
And that's going to open the door
မ
for
ကဲ
Nan
မို့လေကွာမတည်ဘူး
to
လေ
get himself the freest point of his life for Angel.
ဘောတော့မောင်းလစ်သွားလို့ရတယ်
They
အဲ့တော့နောက်လေးက
take the
တ်ပြီး
opportunity when it presents itself, and they've done just that. So yes,
baby,
you'll be happy.
baby.
And if you're someone that's
Hey,
asked the
hey,
code today, you'll be happy as well because it's on the screen right now.
8 7 GTW 72 BYA ရပြီ
So what?
Yeah, they do what the fuck.
You too slow.
Rank is really the circle
Don't you know,
encapsulated by Northsiders. Can actually
You're too slow.
ask him to up.
I got one.
And well, I guess these are the
Viva,
teams
no?
that aren't inside of the circle, and this is really what's happening, I guess. So
ဘာလဲ
it's
ရောက်လား
basically just chaos.
စလုံးကြည့်တခါပြောင်းတော့ capital တော့
Get much
Yeah,
from this
no,
match.
Man, that makes me mad as fuck.
With the way the circle has shifted
Yeah.
away from
တရားရတယ်ဝါရတယ်ဝါရတယ်
to Alga's demise. Does stop short though here at this little defilade. MP49 in hand. But a distance away doesn't connect onto the MC at the back of the petrol station. But the
Bigani
are now arriving
not called
from
Battle
Arena Elites now for Horde.
ဟာ
Dukes,
ကိုရီးယားတစ်ခုရ
they
ပါ
now
ပြီ
come to the fray here. Jun and MC in a 2 versus
မဟုတ်
4.
စလုံးကြည့်တခါပြောင်းမှ
Silver
ကျွန်တော်ကြည့်ပြောင်းလာပြီဗျာ
ကိုမကြီးမဟုတ်ဖုန်းမှာဖွင့်တာဖုန်းမှာဖွင့်တာ
0 points
Okay.
unless
ကွန်ပျူတာ
can find a
ဂိမ်း
kill.
မှာပဲဟောလို့မစထရင်းအောင်မလား
Looking pretty unlikely.
Straight out,
if
straight
I'm
out.
မစထရင်းအောင်ဆိုဖုန်းမှာဖွင့်ကြည့်လိုက်အဲ့ဒါဆိုချက်ချင်းကြည့်လို့ရဘာလို့ screen strict လုပ်နေခြင်းကြောင်းလို့ရှင်မရအောင်
ဟုတ်တယ်ဟုတ်တယ်
He gives the
ဟော
opportunity.
ဂိမ်းကပါရ
A few
push
teams to
screen ရ
close the distance.
minimize မလုပ်လို့မရ
Here goes Bay though. They're going to try and make it across the bridge. I'm not sure how this works out too kindly.
ကျွန်တော် do screen ဆိုတော့ easy ပဲ
Watching and
တစ်ဖက်ကကြည့်တစ်ဖက်ကကြည့်တိုင်းရိုက်နေလို့
Sight on the roof. I think he's got the backup of a teammate there as well, and they're headed almost directly toward Ronan, who should have shots here on Loki's,
ဘော
but
တော့
doesn't seem
Okay.
to.
ကျွန်တော်တို့
So
red dot တွေပဲချိန်မှာဒီကောင်ချိန်တော့ do screen နဲ့
They have largely gotten across the bridge unscathed, and I'd say they're going to be happy with
Well,
that. That's actually
require
I think
a camera
they've gone
holder.
much worse.
อืม
So that's
အဓိက
1 and 2 on
position
the
နဲ့
leaderboard, both with nothing
ဘယ်မှာရှိ
here for the final.
ဘယ်လိုကြ
ဖွင့်နေနည်းနည်းတော့နောက်ကြတယ်
That because it just means we're not
အ
going
တန်
to
ဂရင်းနဲ့သုံးတာတော့အဲ့ဒါကြောင့်
อืมဟုတ်တယ်
everyone in that sort of
ထိုင်ကိုတန်ဂရင်းနဲ့ပြစ်တယ်
is going to be able to catch up.
Requires
ကျွန်
no
တော်ဒီ
check.
တော့နေပဲ
Towards that
ကြိတ်ခံနေရ
gap, which was already forming.
ကိုယ်ဆိုတကြွိုင်းကြိတ်တော့
points
ဆ
or
ယ်
so. And apparently goodbye to Sharper Esport.
join လာပုံးလား
Not sure exactly what
Cyber
happened,
is
but
a channel,
apparently
yeah.
essentially doing most of the
Cyber
work.
the
there. I would
Kajen is
imagine
on
they were
corner.
trying to make
Kajen
their way
is
over
on
the mini
chart.
Rosok Bridge, and Cerberus basically just cleaned up, and then
ဟိုတော့ကောကျဲတယ်ပြောတော့
then happened to them.
ဒီယာယူလစ်သွားရဲ့ဒီကောက်တော့
Bay are lurking as well. They've heard these shots. They're looking for a couple of cheeky points here or there.
sorry ကျန်နေရပါ
Molotov's going to get chucked in. Won't land on top of Omuma. But Neferhort has spotted out 1 or 2 of the Magic players. Can't quite land the finishing blows. He would have. They were out in the open. It would have been a free kill for
ကြီးနေ
Bay.
ဖုံလုံးထားလို့ချက်ပါလေ
They're going to have to duck their heads back down because Fury behind
ပုံရ
them
မိုက်
will have shots flood
ဟာ
up on that roof.
ဒီ
In
ကဲ
the
အစီအစာပါချစ်ကိုတော်တော်
Put that
ကောင်း
to
လို့
good
ပြန်
use
တော်
already.
တော်
Shots
ကောင်း
going
မကဲ
through from him. On the other side of the map up towards the north, it's Division X that are trying to breach Purple
Hey, we
Moon.
quite
It's
happy.
kind of working, kind of not working. It's all over the place, and so
အဲ
we're back
249
over
က
to
ကြီး
Angel
ကြီးတရားမ
Alliance,
ကောက်
who
လေ bro
are now breaching
Got it.
Victim Rise, one of those teams
Yeah,
that
that's
are
not
trying to
down,
close the gap with the top, but for Ram and
Hold
for
up.
LG Divine,
Yeah,
the two
we did.
teams that are at the top, getting
Yeah,
nothing
well,
out of this game.
ဒီတိုင်းယူဆို
We
95
happy
လား
to see Victim
Yeah,
really not getting a hold.
150ဟုတ်တယ်
Look
150
at the patience though from Angel
Well, yeah,
Alliance
quick
playing
drawing.
so well. Gen Force
It's in a minute,
but they
yeah,
are not
အဲကြောင့်အမုံဆွဲလို့ရ
just send it in there. Now
ဘာကုတ်လေးရ bro ကုတ်ကဟွာလေးဟွာရတစ်ကက်ရ bro တစ်ကက်ရလို့ရှိရင်သူကတင်း
probably not going to
winning team ကို select လုပ်လို့ရအဲဆိုရင်ဟွာရ
It was already quite
He
low.
beat the
Surely
fuck, the
Angel
Bayan.
Alliance aren't just going to balls this one up. No, they're not. Nan comes up big, as Nan usually does. 5 kills for Angel Alliance. They take out one of their direct competitors and they jump up into the top 6. We're not done yet, though. This has been a bloodbath of a final game.
မို့အယောင်ကြောင်းတော့လို့လေ
Impact 21
We play
minutes,
cheat here, eh, bro.
23 alive, 17.
Range out here,
Loki's the last one alive for Battle Arena Elites. He's almost just ran himself over. He did. Rapid will eliminate him from Hydra Gaming. Bay are out in the
ပြရတာကမရက်ပဲဆက်ပေါင်းလို့ရတယ်
to day trade versus
မို့လို့
Magic.
တော့ကျွန်တော်ဆိုအစိမ်းပြောင်းတဲ့အစိမ်းတာပဲ
3 up. gets
and who only
the
yeah, bit
four.
of
3 or
say,
4. It's actually the 4. Umimar just revived. But not against Tom K, who has been on his last few games.
Tom K is going absolutely nuts at the moment. The Molotov chucked right in from him. Would have loved to have seen where that landed because it looks almost very on top of an Nautica. Flash is going to probably drop here as well. And he will. Tom K, it's a double kill for him. He's going to add another couple of points to the tally for Magic. And I didn't see Magic really flex their muscles. They've been quite so far today.
I don't think Alliance can actually third party this. Tom K ends up just wiping day trade single-handedly. He has 10 kills for Magic Esports, and they're up into the top 3. I thought they were like bottom 5. Bottom 6. I don't know anymore, Jordan. This night has happened.
ဟောနေတဲ့အသင်းတွေကတော့လစ်သွားပြီ
but the position
ကြီးလည်းလစ်သွားပြီ BI လည်းလစ်သွားပြီ
doesn't bode well either for Angel Alliance. How do you get from here is the question. I don't think
Free sound ဒီပွဲ Free က biggest season မှာလည်းဟို chicken လွဲချက်ကလွတ်နာတယ်တပွဲမမြောက်ပါဘူးဒီကောင်နောက်ဆုံးတမတ်နဲ့ကောက်ဆုံးကိုရှုံသွား BRU
Any other places
ကျော်နိုင်သွားတယ် BRU ရပါတယ်
could potentially go to the power lines. You know, there's a bit of cover around there. Not great.
BRU တော်တော်တက်လာတယ် BRU
Breaching.
I'm a build on and do it.
Oh, this is gonna have to pull up.
Go for either.
The thing is,
pull up.
This position you can see.
ကြည့်တော့ကားဝင်လာတယ်ချက်ချင်းအဲ့ထဲနေဒီထဲကြည့်
They won't be able to really see you. And well, the way that Hydra Gaming are positioning themselves is on the inside of the petrol station as well. So they're around the area. It is a lot easier for Angel Alliance to get to this sort of position. But now they're gonna have to find them.
နောက်ကလာနေ
There is
ထိတယ်တော့ပြစ်တယ်
I don't know. There's 3 or 4.
သွားပြီတော့
3 inside of this UAZ.
Oh shit
Patrick Mad Dog all getting involved. Angel Alliance just another Magic Esports. It's not done. There's a few teams they've got to still deal with from the future of the north. Hydra Gaming inside the petrol station. Down to the final 4 teams. 55 seconds till phase 7. It is so early on in this final game, and yet everyone's dead.
Yeah, Fury back again into the top 4, so turning their fortunes around here on Erangel.
Don't push it,
down toward the bottom end of the standings, but if they have a good finish here, maybe they can jump back up and put themselves in a reasonable spot heading into day number 2. The main storyline, though, to watch.
Angel.
Angel. They can try. I mean, if they can get a lot of these points towards the end, they can definitely.
So I think it's going to be very difficult for Hydra from this position because of the way that Insight and Flood are positioned right now. They've got the east side covered. Angel, I said Archangel, Alliance have got the west side covered. So how does Hydra Gaming get out of this position? I don't think they really can. And if this phase 7 circle shifts away from them, which it does, Jordan, they're in some trouble here.
They are indeed, but maybe they can do. Angel Alliance doing exactly that at the moment. It's from the future that it's copping all of their bullets, and Angel Alliance are making a late run for a potential first place heading into day 2. This is the last game of today. Blood helping out as well. He'll get himself a point there. But it's Angel Alliance that are picking up the majority. The Lions put Hydra. The live Flood. He's got a double kill. He's knocked Patrick on the floor. It looked so good for Angel Alliance, but Flood just steps up. I think it was the org in hand for him. Puts it to good use. And, hey, dare I say it, maybe Fury, the memes might not continue. Maybe they can get themselves from this position.
It's not over yet, though. 3 versus 3 versus 3. There's the solo still for Hydra Gaming. Inside of the petrol station. Not out just yet. From the future, they have pushed up very quickly. They have to deal with Angel Alliance from a very awkward position. They do have a bit of rock for cover. Nando will just sit down Hexagon. One's forced prone. That's Mip and Zuzu. And then you got Triple X up as well. So they're down to just 2 standing. I'm not sure if they're going to get revived. Fury are obviously going to play for position. They don't need to move. In fact,
See,
Ronan
we're
will still just hold, watch this east side of the petrol station. But Angel Alliance will need to get moving. 45 seconds, and that blue's slowly pushing in on them. Where do you go from here? It's
Why are you going down?
Onto this rock, from the future.
Shit.
Shots there from Fury that are really ramping up at the moment late in this game. Since game number 14 of PCS 1, where they last got a victory in PCS. I mean, this year, I guess, not counting qualifiers and such, but maybe there's one for the cards here. That's a nice toss from Flood with the Molotov. Yeah, it's and it really is just looking a little bit too easy right now.
They got it.
No one's shooting them.
They're going to get almost the day, we know, but PCS1 APAC had come and gone. PCS2 APAC had come and gone. PCS3 APAC had a chicken dinner for Fury. They are back. No doubt about that. Second place, only 1 point behind turnaround. Forget about Miramar. Miramar so 2019, Jordan. What a victory.
Yeah, it would have been day 3 of PCS 1 where they got that. A good turnaround for Fury, and they started the day off really, really poorly, but turned up there on Erangel. 2 really, really good games from them. A second place, followed up by a first place. If we had a king on Miramar, it's undoubtedly Pubg, but you'd have to argue if there was a king on Erangel. Has to be. They've turned their day around. They've done a really good job of that. You asked me that question getting into, I guess, quote unquote, what was the mentality going to be? Worried about? Were they going to be tilted, etc.? It's only 2 games, and they are the kind of team that displays that mental fortitude in terms of being able to turn into something greater. Whether it's the next day, whether it's the next game, it's something like that. Give them the time, they'll be able to turn it around. Quickly,
gotta
say though, the guys from Angel Alliance, pretty good shout for themselves there as well. Lots of frags going their way, and a lot of credit to that region. Every time in PCS, and it seems.
Spree. AUG ကိုစစ်စကုတ်ကြီးနဲ့ Sorry, ကျွန်တော်စောင်းနေ
ကိုရီကုန်းနေလောက်ရောက်
Fuck you ပတ်ကြီးဒီနေ့မှလည်းညစ်တယ် live room မှာလည်းညစ်တယ်
ကုန်းချပြီးတော့မရဟုတ်လား
ညစ်ပတ်တယ်အကောင်
အဲ့နေလို့မရတာကြီးကျွန်တော်ရတယ်ကြည့်ဦး
သူကုတ်ဖြေဖို့ကိုကပဲ PC နှလုံးစင်ရမှာဖြစ်
ဘောလေအဲ့ဖုန်းနဲ့ကြည့်နေရမှာလေခင်ဗျာဖုန်းနဲ့ဆိုခင်ဗျာကောက်ဖြေလိုက်လို့ရတယ်ပေါ့ကျွန်တော်ကကုတ်ဖွင့်တာတခါတည်းဖွင့်လာတာ
ကုတ်ကကျွန်တော်လည်းဖွင့်ထားတယ်
Yeah, you look yeah. ဘာပြောတခုရပါရဲ့နောက်နေ့ကျရင်ကြည်ရရှာအောင်ငါ့ကို6ခုလောက်ရစအေးစေးဟုတ်တယ် bro သူတို့ပြီးတော့ကိုယ်ကုန်းညာသူတို့ pro ကုန်းကျွန်တော်က no ကုန်းသူတို့ pro ကုန်းနေ
Plo passion နဲ့ player တွေနဲ့ဆော့ကျင်လို့
ဘလော့ဖက်ရှင်နဲ့ player တွေနဲ့ဆော့ကြည့်ရင် PCS3 မှာတော့ဟိုကောင်လေးကွာဖင်ပေါ်ဖင်ပစ်တယ်ပြီအဲဆိုအကောင် report ထုတ်ပါကောင်
ဆောက်လုံးတွေလည်းကောင်းလိုက်တာနော်သူများ
โอเคခွေးသား
ပတ်သက်တော့ပုံမြောက်ပဲ
ဟိုဒီကောင်လေးလေဘာမှဟတ်တော့မဟတ်တာကွာလွယ်အိတ်ကိုဟတ်တာပဲထင်တယ်သိတာအဲ့တော့ grenade အလုံးပေါင်း1600လောက်ရှိတယ်ပြတဲ့တာ
စမုတ်ကြီးဆိုတဲ့
စမုတ်ကြီး
ဟိုဇုံထဲမှာကြည့်လိုက်စမုတ်နဲ့ဘယ်လောက်ထိနေသွားလဲဆိုတော့
အဲ့ဒီ
နောက်ဆုံးဇုံထဲမှာကြည့်လိုက်အောင်
ဟုတ်ပြောနေတာကြီးတယ်နဲ့အတောက်200ကျော်ပါတယ်ကွာသူအိတ်တယ်ငါအိတ်တော့ရှိပါ
အဲ့ဒီတဲ့ကောင် chicken စားပြီးထင်တယ်ဟုတ်လား
မရ
အဲ့ကောင်ကြီးကြိုခွာနေတယ်စပုတ်လေးကုန်ရောကတေးပါလေရောအဲ့မှာလူရင်အားစကားပြောတာပဲနော်
ဟိုရောက်ကျန်တဲ့ကောင်တာပြီလေ
လာမလို့နဲ့ဒီမဲ့မှာလာလို့ရအောင်ဖိစက်ကောင်โอ้ဝေးရနေဟိုနဲ့ပြစ်ခံရမှာတဲ့
ဝေးရတယ်အဖော်နဲ့လက်ပြမယ်မင်းတို့ red dot နဲ့
ဒီကောင်နဲ့ချိန်အောင်ချိန်ဒီကောင်နဲ့ပြစ်တာဒီကောင်နဲ့ချိန်နေရတယ်
ဘယ်နဲ့ဖွဲ့တော့ကွာနောက်ဆုံးဇုံကြီးကိုသွားကြတာရက်ဆက်တယ်တီးတယ်ကြာ
base 90ကိုကျွန်တော်ကြည့်ရအယောက်40ယောက်ကျန်တယ်ဝိသားတယ်ဘယ်လိုစော့ကြရမလဲရှစ်ကန်
ဒါမေးတော့ရအောင်ယူကြတယ်ကြောနေ
damage အမှတ်တော့ပြီနိ
ဂျမ်မီဒီကောင် player အတွက်ပဲကောက်တော့ပါပွားတယ်မဟုတ် point မရဟိုရမရပွဲတယ်မဆန်ပွဲအိုက်ကင်းနေဟိုပဲ
ဒီနေ့ချင်း
ဇုံကိုကောက်တယ်စီးတွေကောက်တယ်ဒါ position ကိုကောက်တယ်
ဟုတ်တယ်ဘာလဲကိုလည်းကြပြမမရကြပြမရဘူး
ဟုတ်ကဲ့လား9သိန်းလောက်ပဲထောက်ပါဟုတ်ပြ
ဈေးခေါ်
ဈေးကွာအဲ့ဘရန်ဖိုးတို့စိတ်ဝင်စားသွားတယ်လို့ပါတော့
ဘာဒီကနေဒီတော့မိမကို PC ပြင်ပေးရတော့ပါ
ဝိုင်း
သူပဲပါဆိုတော့ပါတော့မလုပ်နဲ့
ပတ်ကြီးကိုလည်းပတ်ကြီးကတက်တော့မှာလို့
မကြည့်စော
ကြည်ရတာဆော့ကျင်နေပြီ
ပတ်ကြီးကတက်တော့မှာပတ်ကြီး
စွမ်းနာပွဲ
ဒါကြည်ပြီးတော့စော့ကျင်တာမဟုတ်ဘူးသူ့ယောက်ျားသေးတာကိုအားမရလို့လိုက်သေးပြီ
ပွဲတဲ့ဆော့တယ်တကယ်ဟိုအတိုင်းပဲတော့အပြင်တိုင်းပဲပြင်နေကြတယ်ပြောမို့ဒီကစိတ်လို့ရှာဖို့ကောင်းတော့အဲ့
ကျွန်တော်တို့ကြတော့ဒီရိုင်းယူဆော့တယ်ကြာသူတို့ကြတော့အလုံးတစ်ခုလေးပြည့်မှာချက်မှမာလို့မရဘူး
တော့လာစားရတယ်ဗျာ
သူလာစားရအဲ့ဒါကြောင့်မလို့လေသူကထိုးပေးတဲ့ကောင်အတိုင်းပဲသွားတာသူတို့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဘင်းလေးနေထားရပြောပြင်ရပြီးကြရမ်းပဲပြစ်တာလားတကယ်ပဲကောင်းတာလားတော့မသိဘူးအားမောင်းနဲ့ပြေးမလို့ရက်ရှိရှိကတော့ဖြတ်မသွားနဲ့ဗျာ
ကျင်တာ
ကြလာမယ်
ကျင်တာ
ဝတ်တက်တော့မရဘူးတက်တယ်လည်းသိပါ
ဟုတ်တယ်
အဲ့ကြောင့်ကျွန်တော်ပြောတယ်ဖေးပေါ်ရင်ဖေးဖြစ်တယ်ကောင်းပေါ်ရင်ကောင်းဖြစ်
ကားမောင်းနဲ့ကောင်လုံးဝဆရာကြမှာနော်ဟုတ်လို့တော့
မဟုတ်အိမ်ဒီကောင်နဲ့တအားကျင်နေတာဘာမှမကစားခင်ဒီကောင်နဲ့အိမ်အတွက်ပဲပြရကျန်တာဘာမှမလုပ်ရဘူးအဲ့လိုခေါ်အဲ့လို
အတင်းရောပြောချင်တော့တရက်ပဲရှိတယ်နော်စီမပြေငါးပါကွန်နေနဲ့ဝင်ရပါနော်အားသားမလို့နဲ့ကောင်းပြောနေအားသားပြောနေကောင်းဝင်ရတာ
PC တဲ့ရောလိုက်ပေါ့
ဒီမှာတော့ပြင်လိုက်ရ
15မိနစ်တဲ့ bro 15မိနစ်နေရမယ်တဲ့ damage 200တဲ့နော်ဟောလူဘမနေရမှာလေဂိမ်းထဲမှာပြော
ဒီလိုမရဘူးအဲ့လို
ဟုတ်လေဟိုဥစားချဲလိုက်
damage ထိလို့မရ any damage
ဟမ်ပါလို့လား
ပါတယ်ဘယ် damage
ပါဘူးအဲ့ဒါဟုတ်စား15ရောက်နေတာပြီးတော့ပြီ
ဟော
ဒါ15မိနစ်နေရမယ်တဲ့မိနစ်ဒါမိနစ်200ထိရမယ်
လိုက်ပြင်မရဘူး
ဖတ်မယ် bro
ဘွားနေပြီ
hey နီးလေး
ပါလေကျွန်တော်လာနောက်နဲ့ဟိုရှိမှာမဟုတ်ဘူးကိုမောင်ကြီးဖြစ်တယ်
ဟုတ်လား
ဒီကုန်းပေါ်လေးမှာတွေးလိုက်တော့နော်
having to kill you ကိုယ်ကပြန်ခွဲကြည့်ရတော့ report ထုတ်ပါမလို့ဟုတ်ပြီ
estimate တခုလို့နော် ကျွန်တော်ခေါင်းလေးမြင်လိုက်တော့ပဲ
anyone
ဟောဒီဘူတွေကိုတန်းပြန်နေ ဒီကောမမီနီ14ရှိတယ်
အောက်မှာရှိရင်ဒီမိုမှာရှိ
ဟုတ်တယ်ကျွန်တော်တက်တဲ့ကောင်ဒီနားမှာတော့ပေါ်လေးမှာโอ้มาดีบูထဲမှာကိုတော်ပေးပါ ကျွန်တော်ပွဲကကြောက်တော့မှာပါ
ကျွန်တော်မြင်တယ်ရှိမှရောက်နေရှိမှတစ်ပွဲရှိရယ်ဒီဘက်ရှိပဲမှာညာဘက်မှာ
ငါပဲဒီတောင်ဆုံးလေးမှာ
နောက်ကိုတော့မဟုတ်ဘူး
ဒီကောင်ဟောလာပဲရ
ဒီဘက်ရှိနေမှာ
ကျွန်တော်ပြောရတီး
ကိုပေါင်ကြီးထိတ်နာမှာနော်အဲ့ကောင်
အင်းသွားလောက်ပြီးအောက်ကျောကနေ
ကျွန်တော်မတွေ့သေးဘူး
တက်မလာဘူးနော်
ဟောအစပရက်ဆာရနော်
အေးရလား
ဟုတ်တယ်ဗျ
ယူမယ်
yes စပရက်ဆာချီပတ်
ရှိပဲ
မတွေ့ဘူး
ရှိ
နော်
ပါလေရှိပါလေခေါင်းထိတာတော့မတော်ဘူးလေ
ကျွန်တော်ရှိမှာလား
ဟုတ်တယ်ကိုရှိပါလား
打姐。
ไม่ก่อนเจนนี่ไอ้เป๊ะแบบว่าเป๊ะแบบ
เอาซิงอะไรดูกัน
ดีออกมา
ดีเลย
ที่จี
ของมันเนาะ
SK 也是吧。我也draw 血，你知道吗？
นี่คือเรื่องเอามาเนี่ยคนละสั่งอ่ะโอ้เลยจ้ามีอยู่ไปกินเกิดเลย M16 เนี่ยเนาะตอนนอกลุงเนี่ย
Orange 我ตีมาทีนี้ Orange ยาลามตีนะ
Orange ဖြစ်ဖို့များ
ကျွန်တော်ပဲမှာအနောက်ကနေရောက်လာတာကွာတကောင်တော့ရိုက်အေးကျွန်တော်တွေးဟီးကျင်လို့လောက်လိုက်တာကျွန်တော်က AWN ရှိတော့အဲ့တောင်ထိပ်နားမှာတကောင်တော့ရိုက်ဘယ်နားမှာရှေ့အောက်နားမှာတကောင်ရှိတယ်ရှေ့အောက်နားမှာအပေါ်ကိုမောင်ကြီးအပေါ်ထိပ်နားမှာပြန်ကယ်သွားပြီ
ဟာဇုံထဲမှာနေတယ်လို့ကိုမနောက်မှာနော်နောက်ပါဇုံပြပါ
ကျေလို့ရတယ်
ကျွန်တော်ဒီကောင်နဲ့ကြောက်တုံးကွယ်နေရ
အော်ဘလို့အဲ့လောက်တော့နေနိုင်တာလဲလို့
ကျမပက်ရှိလို့နေမှာပြန်ကယ်သွားပါဘာတကောင်တော့ရှိပါ
โอ้ไอ้ကောင်ပါရင်းကြแล้วพูดถึงไอ้ကောင်ပါရင်းကြဒီတိုင်းတော့မကြည့်နိုင်ဘူးသူပေါ်နိုင်
နော်
ပိတ်လိုက်တာတွေ့လား
မဘူးဒီကောင်တွေ့ရဲ့
ဘာလို့မဆိုင်ဘူးလိုက်ပြည့်တယ်
ချစ်တာရ
ကုတ်ကြီးနဲ့ပြပြအောင်
I am Power Ranger coming. Gee.
ကြည့်တယ်မသိတယ်သူတင်မိတ်တွေပြောပြလိုက်တယ်နေမှာသိလား
location တည်ရဒီကော location တည်ရတဲ့လားကောဇုံဝင်ရမှာမဝင်ကြည့်
အာခေါင်းနေရွေးပြစ်တာတော့
ram ဆောကြဘူး
ဆော့
ဟုတ်တယ်
မကြည့်တာ
NX 1 2 3
โอเค
ဒါကတော့ဘောထုလာကြပြီကော
ထုတ်ပြီးပြီ
ရအထုတလိုက်
location ဘောဒီကော
အိမ်ကခေါင်းဟိုးအပေါ်မှာတလက်မလောက်ကွာအဲ့ဒါကိုခေါင်းလေးကြီးပဲပြစ်သွားတယ်
ကျွန်တော်လည်းခေါင်းနေနာရီကပဲချစ်ကန်ကွာပြီလို့တကူ
look central drive motor မရှိဘူးလေဒါဆိုမှဖြစ်နိုင်ရှိစစ်ထိုးအဆွမ်းနှစ်ချောင်းတွေ့ရကွာတုံးတယ်
ဆန်ဝင်မလားကျွန်တော်ဖုန်းပြောလိုက်အောင်မယ်လေ
ဆော့တော့လာပြဖုန်းပြော
ဖုန်းပြောထွက်ပြီ
ရတယ်လေ
ပြီးမှ
ဖုန်းပြောပြီးပြောလိုက်ရတဲ့ဆော့ပဲလေ
ကျွန်တော်ပြီးမှ run ဆော့မယ်လာခဲ့မယ်နော်
โอเค
โอเค
ကျွန်တော်တန်သွားပြီတင်းကုတ်ရပါလေဆို
ပြောနဲ့မပြောနဲ့
တိတ်ချီနေတယ်ဟုတ်လား
သူများអော်ပေးလို့သိရနော်
ဘာသူများ
မှာပဲအာရုံရောက်နေတယ်
ကျွန်တော်ချက်ချင်းကြာတယ်ကျွန်တော်တန်းရိုက်တာဘောဘောင်းဆိုကိုရနှလုံးနဲ့လေပုတ်ဖွင့်လာပြီးကပ်တက်လက်တော့ခါပြောင်းတော့ပြုံလို့ရိုက်ထည့်လိုက်ရော
run ဖို့ရသွားလား
တင်ကုတ်တကူရပါတယ်အဲ့ဒီပြန်ဆက်
ရလား
မဟုတ်လေတစ်ကက်ရလေဟို
အော်လောင်း
ဘယ်တင်းနိုင်မယ်ဆိုလောင်းလို့ရတယ်နိုင်တသိန်းရအောင်ပြီးတသိန်း
ဟာ cancel ဖြစ်သွားတယ်ဘယ်လိုဖြစ်တာ
ရောက်ခိုင်ဘောလုံးပွဲကြည့်မှာမနိုင်တဲ့အတင်းနဲ့ကြည့်တာလာနေပြီ
ဘောလုံးပွဲမကြိုက်တတ်ဘူးဗျ
အော်လာနေဟိုဘရူနိုကကြိတ်ပြီးနှလုံးတော်ကြိတ်ရအောင်19မိနစ်မှအရင်ရွေးခံရ
run ဖို့ဘယ်အတင်းနေလောင်းတာ
ဘယ်ရလဲ
ဟိုဟာ
ပတ်ကြည့်ပြောလား
ပတ်ကြည့်
မလောင်းနေဘူးလက်ပြန်ပါပဲကြည့်တယ်
ကျွန်တော်လည်းရှောင်းလောင်းလိုက်တာဒီတစ်ခါ49,600ပဲရှိ
ကျွန်တော်9တောင်းညကျွန်တော်အမတ်ပိုးရမှာပဲလောင်းနေရှုံနိုင်
ကျွန်တော် ready တိတ်သွားပါတယ်ပြုတ်သွား
ပြုတ်သွားတာ
ပြန်ပြုတ်သွားတာ
ဟော
ပဲလောင်းနေရှုံ
run ဖို့ run ချမယ်ဆို
ရှင်နေကြည့်လာလေ
run ချမှာ
ဒီနေတော့ချလို့ရပြီ
ချလို့ရပြီ
ဒီမှာတော့မှအခုတော့မှဘလို့တက်ခံရရတယ်ကြည့်လာ
ဒါပေမဲ့ဒီကချီတာနဲ့ run ချီတာတော့မတူ run ချီတာချက်ချင်း robot ချက်ချင်းချ
ဒီကောင်လေး system တူတူပဲဗျ
တော့ရဆောက်ယူဆိုင်ကိုပေါ့ပြတ်တာအစတက်ခတ်တဲ့နှလုံးဖြစ် တော့ချီ robot က
ဒါလည်းချီရပဲကြတမင်းချီတာဒီကောင်လေးကကြတော့ဘူးမဆိုင်ဘူး
ကျွန်တော်တို့က robot 2တွေကတကယ်ကို professional player တွေကလုံးဝ robot 2
ဒီကောင်နဲ့ကစားဒီကောင်လည်းမကစားဘူး red မှာမကစားဘူးဒီကောင်နဲ့ဟိုမှာပြစ်တယ် normal တင်းနေပြစ်တယ်ဒီလို custom တင်းနေပြစ်တယ်တက်ကြည့်လိုက်အဲ့မှာ custom code အဲ့ professional တင်းဝင်တဲ့ကောင်နဲ့အကုန်လုံးအဲ့မှာပဲကစားကျွန်တော်နဲ့ Indo ထိုင်းကောင်တကောင်ရှိတယ်ကျွန်တော်နဲ့နည်းနည်းဟိုလုပ်တဲ့ကောင်ဒီကောင်ကစားကြည့်လိုက်အကုန်လုံး custom match ကြီးပဲတို့ team တို့အဲ့အမြဲတမ်း chain လုပ်တာရှိတယ် team ကုန်တယ် squad ကို
Okay, Nemo မှာ show လိုက်အောင်
What the fuck
Yes ဆက်တယ်
Yeah
5 square လောက်ပါမယ်ထင်တယ်
နေလိုက်တော့အဲ့ဒါသွားပြီကြောက်ကြောက်
ပုံပြောင်းပေါ်ကိုရောမှာ1 square
အဲ့ဒီကြိုက်ကြည့်
ကျွန်မပေးရတာ
ရောပါအဲ့ဒါ
fit တဲ့မျိုးဖြစ်နေတယ်လို့ပဲ
ဒီပါ
fit တဲ့မျိုးဖြစ်နေတယ်
ရောဒီမှာပါရယ်
Babe. Flash it up loaded.
Loaded. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Load up.
Loaded. Quite how get it like that.
A pause over.
Oh, as also lead you out you. What about you with 87 man?
Don't bother what you see.
You don't know you been.
You bet. You know that.
You don't like idea, yeah. Cut the K98.
Same point to it, Pojala.
Oh, yeah, that's a low nair.
No, near me either. Miyaki dore. I don't hit. So you are a message on a pool, eh? အလုံးများအလုံးနဲ့
ဘောလာမသိဘူးနော်ဘောနောက်
အလုံးနဲ့အပြားနဲ့တော့မခွဲကြဘဲနဲ့ကျွန်တော် message လာပို့တယ်အိုင်နီဘူလက်
ထွက်တော့မနော်
တော့တော့
ဒီကောင်မှာတကောင်ရှိတယ်အရှိမ
ဟုတ်တယ်ဘောလာပြီ
ကောင်ပြေးတန်တယ်ဘောမဟုတ်ဘူး
ခဏလေးဗျာကြည်ရှောင်း
ခဲကောင်လေးပြင်မှာဆို
အိမ်ထဲဝင်လာရင်နော်
90ပဲရှိတယ်လိုတော့နော်
မလို့တော့စောအိမ်ထဲဝင်လာတွေ့လိုက်တယ်
လူလိုလား
Hello Yuri လား
ဟုတ်ပါတယ်
စောပါလားအိုင်ဒါ
အဲ့တော့အမြန်လုံးစီးပကလုံးစီးရတာမှတ်ပြီးမှတ်
ဒီမှာတင်နေ
ထားတော့
အဲ့ဒါပြရတယ်
ဆောင်းနဲ့မရှင်တော့လို့လား
โอเคဒီကောင်ဟောဒီဘက်ကိုသွားခဲ့ကျွန်တော်စုံနှင်းဝင်တော့ပြီ
ဟုတ်တယ်
ဒီမိုတောင်ကုန်းမှာ
အော်မဟုတ်လိုက်တယ်ဒါပြရတယ်ဒီတိုင်းနေမှုလို့ကွာ
ဒီဘက်ကိုတော့ကောင်းလေပဲအောင်
ရောက်သွားတီးဦး
ကျွန်တော်လက်ပြတယ်နီး
SKS
ဒီပုံပေါင်း
ဆင်းလိုက်တောင်ကုန်းအောင်ဆင်းလိုက်
ရှေ့အဲ့တောင်ကိုအောင်နာလေးပါ
ကျွန်တော်ညာဘက်ကြည့်အောင်နော်
ကျွန်တော်ကြည့်နေအဲ့ကြောင့်
အဲ့လိုပဲနော်
ရှေ့ကွန်ပေါင်းကပွင့်တာနော်
ဒီကရှိကောမရှိတယ်
လာနေပြီဒီဘက်လာနေပြီကွန်ပေါင်းကြီးနှစ်ကောင်
ဒီကုန်းမှာနော်ဒီကုန်းမှာပန်းစားနဲ့ဘယ်ဘက်ကနေ
ဒီမှာတကောင်
မောင်းဘယ်ဘက်
ဒီကောင်တော့ထားတယ်
โอเคတကောင်ကြံနေရတယ်
ကျွန်တော် push လာတယ်
ညားသွားပြီကွာဒီရ
နောက်ပြေးသွားနော်နောက်ပြေးသွားတယ်3ကောင်4ကောင်တော့မှ4ကောင်တော့
ကဲပြီးသွားပြီကွာ
ဟောခေါင်းထိရကွာပြန်ထွက်လိုက်တော့ခေါင်းထိကတကောင်တော့ได้
Nice mate Okay
အဲ့ဒါတကောင်ပဲကျန်တော့
က ကျွန်တော် game ရတယ်ဘူးနော်ပြန်ကယ်လောက်တယ်
နိုင်ကြောပေါ်နဲ့တက်မရ
assist ပဲရလိုက်တယ် assist ပဲရလိုက်တယ်ကျွန်တော်
ရပြီ
တေးဝိုင်း
Another one assist.
1k ရလိုက်တယ်
assist ကျွန်တော်3 assist bro
Damage နည်းနည်းပဲရလိုက်တယ်
ဆိုကောင် level 3နဲ့မလို့နေမှာကြီးอ่ะမနော့ရတာ
First aid လေးရှိကြသေးတယ်တအိတ်တော့
ရှိရတယ်
အဲ့ကောင်ရှိတယ်ကျွန်တော်
ကျွန်တော်တစ်လုံးပဲရှိတယ်
ကျွန်တော်9လုံးရှိရ
တစ်လုံး
ရ10လုံးကောက်လာပဲ
ဟုတ်
ရတော့ချပါ
Okay
အုတ်ထုတ်ပဲမရခဲ့
Okay
ကဲဘယ်လိုရှိမှလည်းကြမ်းမယ်ရေပေါ်လို့စဝါလန်ဒါ
ဘယ်လိုသွားမလဲဘယ်ညာလားပဲလားတဲ့လား
ဘယ်ဘက်မှာတစ်ဖွဲ့ရှိတယ်ဘယ်ဘက်ကောင်တွေတော့ပြင်ပါရ position တော့အတိအကျမသိရှိမှ supply ကြတယ်
အုတ်ထုတ်ကပြုတ်သွားတယ်
ဟဝိုင်းနဲ့ပါလဲ
MG နဲ့
MG Oh shit
see yes မင်းတို့က2 time နဲ့ပြစ်တာ
ဒီမှာ3တိုင်းရှိရ bro
okay ဒါပြီချက်ထိသွားပြီ come on man
သွားမလဲဒီရှေ့ကွန်ပေါင်းကတ်လိုက်မယ်နော်
okay ကျွန်တော်ဒီကောင်ကိုနားနေလိုက်ဒီတော့ပြန်ပစ်တယ်
ကျွန်တော်တွေ့သွားပြီ
ရက်ကောင်ပေါင်းရှင်းလိုက် no ကွာ no
ဟာ
စက်ကိုပေးပြစ်နေရ
ဘယ်ဘက်ကနေပြစ်တယ်ဘယ်ဘက်ကနေ
ဆုံးပါသေးတယ်ဘာတက်ကြ
ဟာကောင်းလိုက်တာဆက်လာကြီးကွာ
ဟာရကွာညက်လိုက်တာကွာတော့တိရကျွန်တော်ထောက်ထားတာ
နှစ်ချက်ပဲကွာကျွန်တော်ပြစ်တယ်ကယ်လို့တော့မလွယ်တော့ဒီမှာတစ်ကောင်ရအောင်
ကျွန်တော်ညက်ပါတာကျွန်တော်ညက်နာလွယ်တော့ဝိုင်းတွေ့လိုက်လို့ရတယ်ဆုံးတော့တွေ့လိုက်လို့ရမရဘူး
ကျွန်တော်
ကဲလို့မရဘူးထောက်ထားတယ်
โอเค
ရေမမပြေးကြလို့မပြေးနိုင်
ဒီအောင်တိအောင်တိတယ်
စမုတ်တွေခင်းနေဆင်းလာတော့ပါ
အေးတေးပြီ
ဟ
ဝင်ထဲဝင်ရမှာ
依家咧十倍先咁似，所以年。
တူ啊နော်ပေါ်မှာအဲ့အုံးမင်းနောက်လာလိမ့်မှာအုံးမင်းနောက်လာလိမ့်မှာအုံးမင်းနောက်လာလိမ့်မှာအုံးမင်းနောက်လာလိမ့်မှာကောင်းထီပါလဲဝါပြီကပိကောအဲ့တော့ကောက်ကွာ AWM မြူအောင်ဆိုတော့ကုန်းမပါလို့အိမ်လွဲဝါတာ
တောင်းမို့ဆိုတော့အပေါ်ဆိုဖြစ်မှာပဲကျွန်တော် AI လိုပဲထောင်မှာပဲတောင်းမို့ဖြစ်နေတာဒီကောင်
ကျွန်တော်ညံ့တာ
ဘယ်လိုဆောင်တာလို့ကွာဆောင်တာလို့
ဘယ်ကောင်ကြောက်ပါလဲ NN1 ဆိုတော့ကောင် NH ကစွမ်းနာချီတူလေးကြည့်ကြအောင်လို့လိုက်ကြောက်ရဲတက်တဲ့Oh, drive motorcycle. Premium ကျန်နေရယ် Win mesh level 3ကောက်ရအောင် Oh, ဆောင်းနာ level 3 batch 9ကောက်လုံးကောက်ရမှာလား What the hell? Over တဝက်တစ်ပြည့်ဖြစ်သွားပြီကြည့်လေကြည့်ကြည့်လေပြည်လူဝင်มาလဲပြည်လူဝင်มาလဲ
ကွန်ဖွတ်တော့ပြီလား
ဘောလုံးဝတ်ကြည့်လိုက်အောင်ပါ
အဲ့ဆိုရင်
ချော်ဒီပါကဲကျွန်တော် string ခဏနားလိုက်ပါဗျာဘောလုံးဝတ်ကြည့်ရဘောလုံးဝဲတော့ string လို့မရလွင့်ကျွန်တော်